Hi, welcome back to my channel. Kris Star here. If you are new, then welcome. So today I am at Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. This is located in upstate New York. Really excited to be here, guys. I used to live in New York and I have spent so much time up in this cemetery. It's a rather large cemetery, so there's a lot to explore. There's a lot of history here. That's why I enjoy coming here. So today we're just gonna be walking around Sleepy Hollow Cemetery and the town of Sleepy Hollow itself. Hopefully you guys will enjoy the history of this quaint little historical town in New York. And yeah, let's just get right into it and go and freaking explore. Oh no. Oops. Okay. Alright guys, so before we begin, I'm going to be giving you some facts and some history about Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. Make sure that you guys are staying tuned all the way until the end to hear some creepy and very unnerving stories about some of the people that were buried here in Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. Although the Headless Horseman tale has been a legend since the town was established, writer Washington Irving published the tale and brought it the majority of its fame. Now, when visiting Sleepy Hollow, you can head over to the Headless Horseman Bridge. This was the original site of the ghostly apparition, and the bridge still stands today. So go over, see if you can catch a glimpse of the Headless Horseman. People still swear that they can hear the horse trotting down the bridge, and people have claimed to see the apparition as well, all the way up until this very day. The cemetery is the final resting place of many well-to-do businessmen and artists like Washington Irving, Elizabeth Arden, and the Rockefeller family. When people found out that Rockefeller himself was buried in that cemetery, they wanted to be buried there. So many other businessmen and other notable people in society back in that time period were also buried here. Although many stones contain more than one name, we may never know the exact number of people buried there. Guys, if you enjoyed this style of video, please let me know down in the comments below. Give this video a like and definitely turn on those post notifications for more creepy, haunted adventures and story times.
Park the car right there. Wow. I'm looking just like a ghost. I'm fitting in with everybody here at the cemetery. We got Matt here joining me on my daily adventures.
What's up?
Taking some artsy shots. I don't know. What are you doing?
Being a pretend photographer.
Look how big this cemetery is. This cemetery can easily take you a few hours just to walk through completely. That's why we drove the car through. The cemetery does close. Gosh, my hair. So the cemetery does close at 4:30 every single day. We have about an hour or so to explore. So we're gonna go and just walk around and I'll show you guys around. So scattered all throughout Sleepy Hollow Cemetery are a bunch of mezzanines. Are a bunch of mezzanines. are a bunch of mausoleums. Is this a mausoleum? I also can't say words right. There's certain words in the English dictionary, in the English language, that I just cannot say. In my brain, I can't process the word. Oh my gosh, look at the little steps, guys. The little steps.
I think that's the only way you could get up because everything else is too short.
Okay, so we're gonna venture into Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. Nice little family plot right here. Here's the top of the mezzanine mausoleum. Kind of like how you can do a ghost tour during Halloween, or when you go down to like New Orleans or Savannah, Georgia. When you come to Sleepy Hollow, New York, there are a bunch of tour guides, no matter the time of year. So it doesn't have to be Halloween, just like in New Orleans. I'm out of breath. I walked up 2 mini stairs. You don't actually need to go during Halloween to get a tour. So you can pay for a tour and have a tour guide come and tell you all of the fun facts about Sleepy Hollow, but your girl has been here so many times. I also lived up here in New York, so I'm gonna be sharing all of my knowledge about Sleepy Hollow with you. I am your tour guide. How cool is that? Okay, let's keep it moving. Oh, it's a butterfly. Oh, it's a butterfly. Hey, butterfly. You can still bury people here. You can bury a family member you want to be buried here and you like Sleepy Hollow, you also can be buried here. Behind me is a rather large mausoleum. I said it right. Okay, so guys, right now I'm actually standing right in front of a clog wall. This is an old shed. The shed's probably really freaking old. We're actually in the south end of the cemetery. This is right next to the old Dutch church. So right behind me, you can see it's so sunny. Really sunny out right now, but that's the old Dutch church, and a lot of the original settlers were buried right next to the church because I guess that was like the starting point of the actual cemetery. But what's really cool about this wall is clogs in Dutch culture are very important and very common. This is something that they hold very dear to them. Shoes that were worn quite often, probably if not all the time. So it's amazing. This guy actually was born in 1788 and died sometime like 200 years ago, and somebody still comes here and takes care of his grave and honors him. So that's really cool. I think that people that still come and honor some of these graves are just distant relatives of the people from Sleepy Hollow Cemetery, or from Old Tarrytown, which is what this used to be called. This is the beginning, the start of Sleepy Hollow Cemetery, right next to the old Dutch church. This is where, like I said, the original settlers were all buried. So these are some of the more ancient graves, the oldest graves in the entire cemetery for the most part. And then over the centuries, the graves went up into the hills, and that's what you guys saw earlier.
Well, this girl was only 19.
Yeah, that's another thing too. So hundreds of years ago, people died at a really young age, and if you lived past the age of 30 or 40, you were considered old. There was a lot of disease. Obviously, modern medicine wasn't a thing, so a lot of these graves, unfortunately, the people did pass away at a very young age. So right now we are looking for Washington Irving's grave. He was buried in the south end next to the old Dutch church, so we're gonna try to find it, but we're on a time crunch. I think we only have about 13 minutes left in the cemetery before they kick us out. Should have gotten here earlier. This is written in Dutch. Hier lied begraven Sarah Foce. I don't know the rest. Oh goodness. So what's really freaking interesting is I am a pretty big percentage of Dutch. On my grandmother's side, she is Russian and she is Dutch, and her father was from Holland. Him and his family were from Holland, so I fit right in. I'm right at home with my family, with my ancestors. How cute! I wonder if they know I'm Dutch. That's a dumb question. Spirits know everything. In the afterlife, there is no perception of time. So time is neither past, present, or future. It's everything together. We found the Washington Irving family plot, and that's what's all around here. There's so many of his family members buried here. His grave is actually right behind me. So he was born in 1783 and he died in 1859. Let me know if you've ever been to Sleepy Hollow Cemetery, because this place is freaking huge. It's super historical. I know it's on a lot of people's bucket lists if you live up here or if you've ventured out to New York State to come and see Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. Let me know. Let me know if you've had any experiences or if you've seen anything. I have a ghost story for you. I actually had, thought there was a bug in my hair. I actually had an experience at the Sleepy Hollow Cemetery right where I'm standing, actually. So we're right in front of a mausoleum. I have been to this mausoleum many times. The reason why I come to this specific one or this specific area is because it's really beautiful. Coming to cemeteries was sort of a hobby for me, being into the paranormal and being an empath. It's a place that I enjoy coming to, obviously just because I'm so interested in the afterlife and energy. So I was standing here taking pictures with somebody, and an older man started to walk up to us. He looked really out of it. So all of a sudden this guy starts walking up to us from that path right there. It was a really dreary day. Not a lot of people were here. It actually started to rain just a little bit. So this guy starts walking up to us, and he looked really lost and just really out of it. We weren't really too sure what was going on with him. So we ended up just staying right here. We didn't want to like make eye contact with him or anything. So as the guy is walking up to us, it's like we blinked and the guy was gone. It was the most unusual thing. It just almost looked like he was wearing old brown blackish rags, like old blackish pants, and like kind of like a ripped up brownish colored shirt. I don't know if it was brown or if it was just super dirty. We were still paying attention to him because we just were a little uneasy of his presence, and it's like we blinked and the guy was gone. So we walked down this path, which as you can see, there's absolutely nowhere for you to go. Yeah, so I don't know where the hell he would go, but that path down there leads to the parking lot, and he did not walk anywhere over here. This is all shut in. So obviously at first it creeped us the hell out, but then I realized that I was probably seeing an apparition. There's a lot of soldiers and people that were buried here from the 17th and the 18th and the 19th century. So I don't know, I think I saw an apparition here at Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. It had just started to rain. You know what they say about rain and paranormal activity. So maybe he came out and yeah, I was meant to see him. So that's my little ghost story about Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. If you guys have any ghost stories in cemeteries or in Sleepy Hollow Cemetery, definitely comment that down below because I'm really curious. Oh my god, that literally looks like an sewage drain. Right? Looks like it would live down there. Okay, so we're gonna start heading out now. Right down this road is the parking lot and the old Dutch church. So we just got kicked out of the cemetery. The guy was really freaking rude. It's like the cemetery closed at 4:30. I'm like, I know, it was 4:46 and it took us forever to walk back to the car. He's like, well, it's 4:46. I'm like, yeah, I'm aware. And there's still like thousands of cars in the freaking cemetery. So I don't know why he just decided to come over and yell at us, but he did. So stopped by this little vegan place and got a vegan egg sandwich, a vegan pulled pork sandwich, and some avocado toast. Also got these cute little beet donuts. They're really soft and squishy. I don't know how I feel about it. Moving right along. Currently at the Phillipsburg Manor. It's actually to that side of me, right over here. So just wanted to talk to you guys about the Phillipsburg Manor. So a very wealthy Dutchman named Frederick Phillips bought this land back in the 17th century, and he built up the land and all of the property around it, and it still stands today. So most importantly, but most fun of all about the Phillipsburg Manor in this property, they have a huge Halloween event that they do every single October. I have been to it. They actually set up in and around the property, so I have been inside of the house. They do guided tours year long on certain days with certain hours, but this property is freaking haunted by Frederick Phillips himself. Many people swear they've seen his ghost, and other family members. You can only imagine. This property is freaking ancient. It is like 300 years old. So I'm gonna just show you guys what the outside of the house looks like from across the way. I actually can't walk over there because it is private property. They're not open right now. Your girl's not gonna get in trouble, but I do want to show you how old this house looks. It's just so cool looking. So I wanted to share this with you because we're still in Sleepy Hollow, and this is a huge part of Sleepy Hollow. So this is really what Sleepy Hollow is known for. Well, one of the things Sleepy Hollow is known for. So let's check it out. So right now we have the sun setting, gorgeous sunset. Okay, so there are two houses. The one on the left is a newer addition, and the one on the right is the Phillipsburg Manor.
Let's see if I sat in it. I think I sat in it.
Yes.
It's like sticky.
Yes, of course you sat in it. Great. So the Halloween event that they have here, I come to usually every single year. It has scared the living shit out of me. So one year, a little midget clown rolled over, put her legs behind her head, and rolled in front. Well, first she rolled in front of me, and then put her legs behind her head, and I don't know if she actually farted or made a fart sound and started laughing and said, something along the lines of like, hee hee hee, I farted, and it was just so creepy. That was really scary, guys. You had to be there, okay? I swear, it was really freaking scary. This Halloween event in Sleepy Hollow is like top class. They have super high reviews, like all from around the country. People actually come here from really far away to come to this Halloween thing. So yeah, these costumes are like really realistic, and they always pick on me. I swear, even when I'm not being dramatic and obnoxious and like super scared, like I'm not afraid of the paranormal. I need to note that, guys. I'm not afraid of haunted things. What I'm afraid of is when people chase me. It doesn't matter if you're wearing a costume, if you're not wearing a costume. I don't like when people chase me, and that is what I'm afraid of. So when things chase me, I go freaking crazy. I gave myself an ulcer. I have a really sensitive stomach. It's not because of what I eat. It just, stomach is so we're gonna go to a place called Coffee Labs, which is right off of Main Street in Sleepy Hollow, of course, to grab some hot tea. So we're gonna walk around the town for a bit. And then we also got a guided night tour that talks about murders, mysteries, and all of the weird shit that went on in Sleepy Hollow back in the day. So we have that later, but I can't film. I can't film there. I'm just letting you know that's what I'm doing. A macadamia milk CBD decaf spiced chai latte from this place. Per day I take about 20 milligrams of CBD. It's been helping. It's actually done a lot for my migraines. A company has been sending me vegan CBD gummies. I will link those down below if you guys are interested. I don't make any money off of it. I'm also not getting paid to talk about it. Highly recommend those, especially if you're a vegan and you want vegan gummies. This shit's bomb. Wow. Bomb. 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 Oh, look at it. It's a little musical. How cute! I'm really sad, guys. So right behind me, this used to be a food store like Whole Foods, but it was like half the price. They had this really good deli counter where you can get a bunch of vegan food, like homemade vegan food on the go. They have a whole basement filled with like different like essential oils and every single protein bar that you could imagine. Every single time I came to Sleepy Hollow, I would stop in, get some food to go, bring some groceries home. It's really freaking sad that this closed. We're back in Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. I can't bring my camera. They won't let me. I can't secretly film either. It's gonna be super freaking dark. It's getting dark right now. This is a tour that we do out in the middle of nowhere in the cemetery. There's not gonna be a lot of light anyway, so I will just tell you guys all of the creepy, haunted, murder mystery stories that they tell me. So earlier when our tour guide was speaking, I kept seeing balls of light, like orbs of light, up in the tree line. I don't know if other people have seen them, but usually when I come to cemeteries, I pick up on orbs of light. So at least 3 to 4, maybe even more. And I'm also picking up on a child's energy that is following me around the cemetery, just to be playful. I hope that you guys enjoyed that tour through Sleepy Hollow Cemetery and the town of Sleepy Hollow. Now I want to get into something a little more sinister. I have a few stories about some of the people that were buried in Sleepy Hollow, some really creepy and unnerving things that some of these people did. So stick around, let's get into some of these stories. So there is somebody that is buried in Sleepy Hollow Cemetery that really stands out to me. The reason why is because he is originally from my area. So he is from the county that I live in. That's a little weird to me. Small world, especially because he was buried all the way out in Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. So Mason Armstrong was a reputable architect. He actually had an office in New York City on Wall Street. So this guy was very famous and very well known. He definitely had his shit together, that's for sure. So people around town would have never thought that his demise would come to be the way that it came to be. He ended up getting sick with pneumonia, and people say after he got sick, he was never the same. It was a Tuesday night and he decided to go downstairs and do some work in his home while his children and his wife were all asleep upstairs. Now he decided to, for some reason or another, go and get an axe and slay his wife and try to kill all of his children. Now he did successfully murder his wife and his daughter, and his other 3 children were severely injured. One actually ended up dying much later. Cool, so my camera died. That always happens. I currently have 3 batteries that are all dead. So after Mason Strong was done slaying his family, he went upstairs into his bathroom, took the razor blade out of his razor and slit his throat. The 2 surviving children were huddled underneath the dining room table for 2 full days before anybody came over to check on them. A school friend came over to check on them and knocked on the door. She decided to peek through the front window when she saw the 2 girls huddled underneath the dining room table. So she continued to knock on the door to see what was going on because she just knew something wasn't right. This is where it gets really, really weird. The 2 girls answered the door and told their school friend that everybody is sick and to come on in. That's freaking weird. Needless to say, the school friend ran for her life, alerted her parents, authorities were called to the home, and that is when the grim discovery of the family that was slayed by their father was discovered. So yes, this is definitely a real story, guys. You can look all of this up, and yeah, let's move on to the next creepy, unnerving thing that one of the people in Sleepy Hollow that were buried there did. So another chilling story is the story of Lydia Locke, a renowned opera singer. She was known as the husband collector. If that's not creepy enough for you, then I don't know what would be, because that's freaking weird, okay? So I'm gonna keep this story short because she went through 7 husbands. That's a lot of husbands to go through. And she murdered or poisoned or harmed almost all of them until she finally found the right one that she did not want to harm, which was her 7th husband. Really funny story, actually. So one of her husbands told her that he would pay her off if she didn't contact him for 1 full year. She couldn't listen to this and she couldn't stay away, so then he changed the terms to 6 months. All of the husbands that she went through were filthy, filthy rich, and they all owned giant estates and a load of fortune. So this particular husband was willing to give her multiple estates and a large sum of money just to stay the hell away from him for 6 months. She couldn't do it, and she killed him. So this story may or may not be an urban legend. This has been going on with the school children in town for at least a century. So this is the story of the Bronze Lady. So this morning, Widow decided to get a sculpture made to protect and look over her deceased husband. So it's not very certain where the Bronze Lady got its notorious folklore from, but the school children are definitely really fearful of her. They will never go into the cemetery and cause any harm or destruction or insult the Bronze Lady. They were told that if they touched her face and said a prayer, then something good would come to them. But if they harmed or insulted her, then they would get something really bad in return. So this urban legend or tale is actually still a thing in the town of Sleepy Hollow, and the school children would never dare go in and offend or insult the Bronze Lady.
So guys, I'm actually wearing my new Earthling merch, so check that out in the merch store. The link will be down below. It says Kris Star, the little alien guy in the back. I will show you right here. It's just the cutest thing ever, so if you're interested, definitely go on over. It's pretty limited, so it won't be around forever. If you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Put a lot of effort and work into this video, so if you guys enjoyed it, please make sure you are giving me a thumbs up, and thank you so much for being here. If you made it this far, freaking thank you, because this was a long ass video. So yeah guys, I will catch you in my next one. Peace out.